FPV has gotten expensive lately, and that's why this drone is so interesting. This is the DarwinFPV BabyApe III. I've got the 3.5-inch Pro version, but you can also get this in a mini version with 2-inch props and a standard version with 3-inch props. It's got a built-in GPS, a super durable carbon fiber monoplate, and a pretty smart frame design that slots together like IKEA furniture without using any standoffs. And it uses a very unique battery mounting system where the battery slots into the carbon frame like this. But after flying this drone for a few weeks, I have some really mixed feelings about it. I sort of love it as a travel drone or a park flyer, but there's a few things about it that drive me crazy. And if you're considering this drone, you're gonna wanna know about the goods and the bads, and that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. I see two reasons why this drone might be worth a look. First of all, it's a sub-250g drone that actually is under 250 grams with reasonable sized batteries. The BabyApe III Pro weighs about 174.5 grams with the DJI O4 Pro, these TPU landing pads, and an ND filter. With these 720 mAh 4S packs, it weighs in at 241 grams. And with the recommended 850 mAh 4S packs, it weighs in at 247 grams. Another huge advantage of this lightweight design is that it doesn't make very much noise, so it's easier to fly in public places. Here's what it sounds like. The second reason you might want to consider this drone is that it's very inexpensive. It starts at just $140 and you can get it with an analog system, a DJI O4 Pro, or without a VTX. I got the version with an ELRS receiver, with these foot pads, and without a DJI O4 Pro, and this setup goes for $163. Now for some reason, getting this drone from DarwinFPV with a DJI O4 Pro pre-installed is insanely expensive, so you might want to get this without a VTX and install your own, which is what I did. I also think that the standard DJI O4, or the O4 Lite as I call it, would be a great match for this drone because it's cheap and it's lightweight. And they've gotten a lot better lately with the O4 wide kits that have come out from Flywoo, Rate, and other companies. Of course, the DJI O4 Pro has better image quality, which is why I put one in mine. But O4 Pros are expensive and they can be hard to find, and they're a little bit heavier. If you do go the O4 route, just keep in mind that the camera cable that comes with the DJI O4 is only 5 centimeters, and it won't fit in this drone because the design of the frame will not allow you to mount your O4 board over the stack. You have to mount it in the back right here where I have my O4 Pro. And in order to do that, you'll need a longer camera cable. A 10 centimeter cable should be plenty. Flywoo has DJI O4 Pros and these DJI O4 wide angle kits and 10 centimeter camera cables, so I'll leave a link to those in the video description. The drone comes to you in a basic box like this, and everything's pretty bare bones. You can bundle extra props and batteries when you configure your drone on the website. I got one of the recommended 850 mAh high voltage 4S packs and a balance board. The battery is sized to fit the drone perfectly, and it slots right into this cage formed by the carbon plates. It's much more secure than other designs once you throw a battery strap around it, and it's a pretty slick design. Notice that the XT30 and the balance lead is built right into the battery. There's no battery lead or balance cable. This parallel board is 3D printed, and it's shaped to fit this battery perfectly. Notice that there are no XT30 or XT60 connectors, just these balance connectors. The idea is that you can keep this balance board connected to your charger, and then these batteries just pop right out and pop right in, and you can charge up 4 at a time. It's a pretty cool idea since it eliminates the balance lead, which can be a pain to plug into some chargers and can get chopped up in your props. And I can really see the benefit of being able to pop them in and out of this board so easily. If you want to use these batteries without the parallel board, they do come with a special balance cable and charging cable so you can plug them into a normal charger. If you're considering these, I recommend getting at least 4 packs and this balance board. I have just one of these packs, and it's more of a hassle than a convenience because a parallel board is pointless for one pack, so I have to keep track of these special cables just to charge up this one battery. If you're wondering if you can use other brands of batteries, I measure about 8 centimeters of space between the front camera mount and the rear antenna mount, and 2.2 centimeters between the side plates. And you have about 18 millimeters of usable battery space with the rubber battery pads installed. That means this drone is really designed for batteries that have a long, skinny stick shape. You can't really use these rectangular or square-shaped batteries or lithium-ion packs. Now, technically, you could mount other shapes and sizes of batteries underneath the drone because there are slots in the carbon fiber for a battery strap. But you might have to remove the all-in-one board to feed your battery strap through, and that's clearly not how the frame was designed to be used. I use these Sub250 branded 720 milliamp high voltage 4S packs, and they fit great. Since we are limited on the physical size of the batteries that will fit in this drone, I recommend using high voltage batteries to squeeze out as much flight time as possible. All right, you guys, now I'm out at the flying spot. You can see a waterfall behind me, so we've got some great scenery and some great weather to get some cinematic FPV shots. Let's see what this little drone can do. My first flight is gonna be with a Sub250 720 milliamp high voltage 4S pack. It is charged up to 4.35 volts per cell. All right, you guys, DarwinFPV BabyApe version 3, 3.5 inch Pro. That's a lot of words in one title. See how it flies. I've got 12 satellites. That's okay, not amazing, but it's okay. I do want to test GPS rescue because at this spot I like to go out and check out that waterfall up there, and I want to make sure I got GPS before I do that. So let's test GPS rescue active, and you can see there I am. And it's okay. It's not bobbing around too bad. It's actually okay. I mean, it would land if I let it. I'm not gonna let it. But yeah, GPS rescue works okay. That's very important for me to have. And this quad feels pretty good. It's not loud. That's something I really like. You guys can hear that. Hopefully there's not too much wind noise. I forgot my wind muff today. But let me fly right by myself so you can hear the noise. I mean, this is a quiet drone. Sub250, it's very lightweight, so it doesn't make a lot of noise. That's a real advantage. It flies okay. Let's open it up a little bit more and see what it can do. But I think it flies okay. I've been flying a 5.5 inch, I've been flying a 5-inch freestyle drone and just been ripping it today. And so flying this lightweight drone feels floaty. It is floaty compared to a, real freestyle drone. So I'm getting used to the feeling here, but it flies okay. It flies pretty well considering the cost in dollars and grams. This is a lightweight drone. I am sub 250 grams with this setup, and that's worth something to a lot of people. Power lines, I don't know if you guys can see those, but I can see them. It flies pretty well. I'm liking it. It feels pretty well locked in, as much as a lightweight drone can feel, because, I mean, it is floaty. It doesn't have that locked in feeling of a real freestyle drone, you know, where that weight and inertia of a heavy 5-inch, it doesn't have that. And why am I getting a low battery warning at 2 minutes, 40 seconds? The battery life is a little bit of a problem. I mean, I got loads of batteries I could put on this quad, but because of that oddball design, I can only use their batteries or the sub 250 720 milliamp 4S packs that I've got. They are high voltage packs, so, you know, get a little bit extra flight time there. Go check out Mr. Cow. Mr. Cow is not impressed. And we got some four-wheelers. Yeah! Yeah, she's
hamming it up. She's enjoying it. I better stay a little bit high so I don't hit anyone. Yeah, lots of fun at this spot. People come here on the weekends to check out the waterfall. There's a waterfall up there that's real fun place to come visit. And this is our little place right here, right next to a restaurant. Great place to fly drones. And there I am. I'm out of battery again. Man. I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm at 4 minutes, and as you can see, I'm ripping it around a little bit, but nothing unusual. I'm hardly the most hardcore freestyle pilot. I'm just weekend warrior FPV pilot guy. I don't consider myself like some freestyle legend or anything. I like to get the cinematic FPV shots. Check out that waterfall up there. That is just so beautiful. I mean, that's really what got me into drones, is getting shots like that. So that's really kind of my style of flying. And I could imagine taking this drone on a vacation. You can fly at a spot like this where you got lots of tourists around without pissing people off too much, you know. Oh, crap, I hit a tree. That is me talking and flying at the same time. Anyway, I just wish the battery life was a little longer. You know, I'm at close to 5 minutes, but this is a high voltage pack.
This drone is using an F35 all-in-one board with an ICM 42688P gyro and 45 amp ESCs running AM32 firmware. And mine came with Betaflight 4.5.0 or 2025.12.2. This is a great setup for the price, and everything works just fine. We do have a small capacitor soldered onto the battery leads of the board. It's nice to have a pre-installed extension for our flight controller, and having GPS built in at this price point is a real advantage. Our ELRS antenna is mounted up front beneath the camera, and we do have some separation from the carbon. It seems to work fine, and I have no complaints. This drone is using DarwinFPV branded Bling 1404 4000 kV motors. But what does that mean, and why do you care? Well, these are pretty small motors for a 3.5 inch prop. For example, the Oasis Fly 35 uses 1804 motors, and the Deep Space Seeker 35 uses massive 2004 motors. The advantage of these smaller motors is that the quad is lightweight, quiet, and efficient. These other quads are much more powerful, but they're much noisier and they're not under 250 grams. This frame is made from a single bottom plate that's 3 millimeters thick, and it's extremely strong with these arms and braces. The quality of the carbon is fine, but it hasn't been finished at all, and it does have sharp edges. I really like this monoplate design, and it reminds me of the Bardwell Sub250g kit because it adds strength and saves weight on a small ultralight drone like this. But the disadvantage compared to a more traditional design like we see on the Oasis Fly 35 is that you can't just replace an arm if you break it. If you do break this carbon, you'll have to rebuild the entire drone. But the bottom plate is super strong, and it's very unlikely to break since the drone is so lightweight. The top section of the frame is made up of 2 carbon plates, which are braced by a middle plate and slot right into the bottom plate and lock in place with some standard M2 nuts. It's a pretty cool design because it's very simple and it avoids the need to use standoffs. I did install my own DJI O4 Pro, so I can tell you from experience that it's pretty easy to take this frame apart, but it's kind of a pain to put back together because you have to hold those tiny M2 nuts in place as you feed the screws through. The front end of the drone uses a single TPU mount for the GPS, the flight controller's USB port, and the FPV camera. And it's also got these horns, which give it a little style and probably add some protection if you crash upside down or roll along the ground. There's no way to mount an action camera on this drone unless you were to change this TPU print. I think this mount would be great for an analog camera or smaller cameras like Walksnail or the DJI O4 Lite, but for the DJI O4 Pro, it's not very impressive. Most drones designed for DJI O4 Pro use aluminum plates and soft rubber dampeners like this one on the Secret 35 and this one on the Sub250 Oasis Fly 35. There's no vibration dampening in this mount aside from the TPU material itself, and I know from experience that that's not a good idea with the DJI O4 Pro, and I did get noticeable jello in my footage. You might not notice the jello in my B-roll shots because I've run them through GyroFlow, but trust me, it's there. Another limitation with this mount when you're using DJI O4 Pro is that you can't get very much camera tilt. I have the camera tilted up as far as it'll go without hitting that lens, and I can only get about 20 degrees. You're also really limited on how much space you have to install ND filters. Smaller filters like these ones from Flywoo do fit okay. Basically, I think this mount is pretty inadequate for the DJI O4 Pro, but it would be fine for analog, Walksnail, and the DJI O4 Lite. Alright you guys, now it's time for my conclusions on the BabyApe III Pro. And like I told you at the beginning, I have mixed feelings about this drone, and I really think it'll come down to your budget and your expectations. The real advantage of this quad is that it's cheap and it is a true sub-250g drone. Those are solid reasons to choose this quad, and I also really liked how quiet it is. It gave me more confidence to fly around people when I was on vacation, knowing I wouldn't bother anybody. And it's so quiet that most people didn't even notice I was flying. And with this parallel board and a portable charger, you could have a very slick charging solution, which would make this a great travel setup. Just don't make the mistake of thinking that you're not giving anything up by going with a cheap drone. The camera mount on the BabyApe III is just a piece of TPU with no aluminum or rubber dampening, so you will see some jello in your footage, and if you use a DJI O4 Pro, you won't have a lot of camera tilt, which is fine for cruising or cinematic style flying, but not so much for freestyle flying. This frame has that smart design that slots together and uses no standoffs, but it's kind of a pain to work on. The materials and hardware are also super cheap, and there's practically nothing in the box. But I know a lot of pilots don't care about that. If you're a new pilot, this might be a great first drone for you because getting started in the hobby has a huge upfront investment when you have to buy your goggles, radio, charger, and all that stuff. Also, replacement parts are way less than other brands, so when you crash, and you will crash, you'll be able to get back in the air for less money. This could also be a great choice if you're an analog pilot, a Walksnail pilot, or if you plan to use the DJI O4 Lite, because most of my complaints are specific to the DJI O4 Pro. To be completely honest, I wouldn't recommend this drone if you're planning to use DJI O4 Pro, because the savings just aren't worth the trade-offs once you factor in the cost of a DJI O4 Pro system. Here's what I mean. I brought this drone with me on vacation to see some Incan ruins with my family, and one morning I got up early to get these shots with a rainbow in the background because I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. But I couldn't use larger batteries to get longer flight times, which was very important in that situation because that rainbow was only there for literally a minute, so I didn't want to have to land right when my lighting conditions were right. And my shots have jello in them, and I can't help but wonder how much better they could have been if I had been flying a drone with a proper soft mounting solution for the DJI O4 Pro that could also handle some lithium-ion batteries so I could fly longer and farther. And for me, using a DJI O4 Pro in this unique situation, saving a few bucks on a cheap drone just wasn't worth it. The bottom line is that if you can afford a DJI O4 Pro system, you can probably afford a drone with a proper camera mount for the DJI O4 Pro like the Sub250 Oasis Fly 35. And if you have to be under 250 grams and you prefer to trade a little raw power for longer flight times, you might also want to consider the Flywoo Explorer or the Deep Space ROC4. I do have reviews of all of these drones on my channel, so make sure to subscribe if you want to learn more about any of them. What do you guys think about the BabyApe III? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, that'll do it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video.